Jhoanna Alba is the CEO and founder of Alba Legacy and a fashion designer. Her willingness to give back, eagerness to do good, and ability to persevere are just some of the many factors that make her the leader that she is today.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafae Velasco, and for this series, our topic is Leaders of Today. And you know, the world is filled with leaders and game changers of all ages and backgrounds. This season, we aim to highlight people who make a positive impact in the world around them through their actions and words. So for today's guest, I'm so excited to finally have this beautiful woman, the amazing Chief Visionary and Modern Day Muse, Jhoanna Alba, founder and principal designer of Alba Bespoke Clothing. She customs suits and garments and worn by elite professionals in sports, business, and the entertainment business. She is also big on philanthropy, giving back to local charities and her community. Her passion is not only in giving back, but also in designing the look of your legacy. She also aims to lead others to become their best selves by serving as an example in her respective fields, and that is what makes her the leader that she is today. So without further ado, let's welcome this beautiful woman, Jhoanna Alba. Hi, Jhoanna.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello. I just got so many goosebumps with that's just only a little of what you've done and the people that you've empowered, just creating their outfits, their suits. And I'm pretty sure everybody out there who's watching right now is like, whoa. So I want to start with the beginning, the dream. Can you share, I shared of your success, the little things that you're doing, actually the big things that you're doing right now. But maybe let's go start in the beginning. And I've heard this so many times. So I'm actually excited for everybody here who is tuned in to know more about your background, your journey as a fashion designer.
Yeah,
can you tell us about that?
It actually, I have to be honest, it started as just a hobby that I did with my mother. You know, I'm from the Philippines. We came out to California when I was just 6 months old. And my mother and I would just sew. We had a sewing machine that was always broken. She taught me how to sew by hand. And we would sit on the floor and we would watch sports. So grew up in Los Angeles, big Dodger fan, Laker fan. My father, loves sports, music, and I just kind of, have the best of both worlds. So I'm sitting here sewing, but watching sports at the same time. And then full circle, here I am making clothes for the people that, I was watching growing up. So that's how it started. I mean, that's not how it started. It just happened, that it wasn't a dream of mine. It was just a hobby. Then all of a sudden it became my passion. And then I really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, just one thing led to another. And that's why I'm here today.
And I love that you're such an empowered Filipina. And I'm sure a lot of women out there especially are wondering, like, how did you get to meet, of course, your biggest mentor? And I'll allow you to share who that is. But how do we connect that dot? or those dots?
And again, like everything just, fell into place. Growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. So I knew that if I was going to buy a car, I had to work. So I started working when I was 13 years old, saving my money, blowing up balloons. And then from there, I wanted to be a preschool teacher. I wanted to own my own daycare. So I went to school, but I also went to summer school so I can finish my senior year early. So I graduated when I was 16 years old. And then I went straight to child development classes at West Valley Occupational Center. And I got my degree in child development. And then I was able to teach. So I actually, right out of high school, I started teaching preschool. And I would teach from 8:30 to 12:30, Monday through Friday. And then I had a second job working at a tuxedo shop from 1 to 9. And then I worked on Saturdays. And then I worked on Sundays because, I knew that I was the only person that was going to pay my bills. And teaching, back then, getting paid $8 an hour wasn't really cutting it. So yeah, I had two jobs. And then I really fell in love working at a tuxedo shop where that taught me fashion, that taught me how to measure people, that taught me actually communication and relationships. And, and I was the youngest manager running the tuxedo shop, and I was 18. And I managed the highest volume tuxedo shop in the country. And so I was doing big events. I was working in Beverly Hills, and I was running into, so many different entertainers. But living in LA, it's like, oh, cool. You're making clothes for so-and-so. But at the end of the day, I just loved my job. I loved what I was doing. And I had the opportunity to meet Magic Johnson, who I was 22 years old. And he was, his son was the ring bearer in Holly Robinson, Pete, and Rodney Pete's wedding. And from there, I was recruited to go work for a custom clothing company, and they had me in charge of the women's division for 2 years. And it wasn't my thing. It wasn't for me. And I think Magic knew that. We started building a relationship within, he was getting custom clothing from this company I was working with, and I was making clothes for Cookie, his wife, and a lot of the other wives. So he just one day was like, something's wrong. Come to my house tomorrow. Let's talk. And I was 22 years old, and that's when he told me that I needed to start my own company. And I was like, I don't know where to begin. Like, what am I supposed to do? And he said, just figure it out. You'll figure it out. And that was 27 years ago. Don't do the math.
Wow. But yeah. It's so amazing, and you took that by the reins from someone just supporting you and egging you on. And how did you feel? I'm already just hearing that story. I was just like, oh, Magic Johnson, what?
Oh, I cried many times in my car at stoplights, had to pull over, because at 22, even though I've been working my entire life, it was like a different path. Like, this was like serious, like I'm an adult now, like I'm going to own my own business. Like, I have to figure this out. I had to go get my DBA. I had to go, I'm like, I didn't even know what a DBA was. I had to figure all this stuff out. And back then we didn't have all the, internet and all that stuff that we have now. So you couldn't easily Google anything. You just kind of had to, figure it out. And yes, I started my first company, flopped. It lasted like 1 year. And then I started my second company. And that was a good 13-year run. And Magic was my first client, my first company, my second company, and now this company, which is Alba. So
amazing. I know how difficult it is to really find your groove, or even find the right people to be surrounded with when it comes to business. I think this is my third run, and finally I also put my name on it, which is Mafae Management. So I know I've heard this story, but I would love for you to share it again. What made you finally put your name on your business?
Oh gosh. So I was sharing that I did have a previous company before Alba for 13 years, and I put my sweat and tears in it. It was like my baby for that long. But, life is so things happen so unexpectedly. I just happened to be going, my best friend I shared with you earlier, she's a road manager, and she was a road manager for Mariah Carey. And she invited me to go to Singapore. So I went to Singapore, and, Mariah was performing or whatever, but I had a 2-hour layover in the Philippines. And I didn't even, when I got to the Philippines, I'm like, okay, I have a 2-hour, I have to see my family. So I ended up calling my tita and they ended up coming to pick me up, and I stayed for 7 days. I stayed in the Philippines for 7 days on what was supposed to be a 2-hour layover. 2 hours. Right. Yeah, but it's just ironic how God works, because God was telling me, slow down, get your life into perspective. What are your priorities? Really think about, your next chapter. And it took me to go back to my roots, go back home, spend time with my family, to where I realized that I wasn't happy. And I was hiding behind, I make clothes for all these, entertainers and athletes. But inside, I wasn't serving my purpose. So when I came home after that 13-hour, plane ride, literally the next day, I sat down with my partners, and I just basically said, I have to move on. We didn't have the same vision, and God says you have to be equally yoked with your partners, and we weren't. So I stepped away. I stepped away, and had to hit rock bottom. Because basically God hit me upside my head and was like, you just got to start from scratch and have faith, and I got you, and let's go. So 10 years later, Alba, my mentor, is like, now it's about you, and you have to put yourself first. You have to, you do, in order to help others. You have to be healthy. You have to love yourself. You have to be, be focused, and you have to have your priorities straight. So it took me to go to Singapore and watch Mariah Carey and have a layover in the Philippines to realize, I really wasn't that happy. But so that's kind of the gist of everything.
No, you're putting tears in my eyes, because I totally get you, and how we wish we knew all this when we were younger. But I think God has his ways of showing us how to be stronger. And maybe, later in our life, we just have to know it then, so that we can give back. And that's what I love about you the most, Jhoanna, is that you really are a selfless person that gives back. And speaking of that, we have an exciting event this weekend. How I wish I could be there for you. And I'm sure you've had so many other events, that you've already organized before. But what makes this one so special? Maybe you can share also.
Yeah, absolutely. A year ago, a year and a half now, prior to COVID, we had events for Super Bowl in Miami. And I participated in a fashion show with it was for the NFL Wives Association. And I said, wouldn't it be great to partner with, some type of nonprofit where we can, have a fashion show with like littles. And so I was thinking back then, if we partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters, that how cool would it be for the kids to design their own outfits, and then we make them, and then they model, down the runway with one of our celebrity clients. So this was actually a thought of mine a year and a half ago. And then, COVID hit. And then right when we started opening up in LA, I think it was June 15th. And I was like, okay, our first event's going to be, our first event was a Mother's Day brunch that we had with In Her Purpose. And we had 100 women there. And then literally 5 weeks, this was like 6 weeks ago. How long ago was Mother's Day? Like so recent. We were like, okay. I said, let's do this. We can do this, because my clients happen to be in town. It's NBA finals, but the teams that didn't make it are working out in LA. My football players don't start the season until until like next week. So I was like, if we're going to do it, we have to do it now. And I mean, the amount of support from you, from Kumu, from I
Yes.
mean, I just so grateful, so thankful. The Lakers, our title sponsor, and we've just been so fortunate, so blessed, and it's just been an outpour of blessings. So we thank you. Thank you for being a part of it.
Of course. As much as we want to be there physically, we are there emotionally and spiritually. And I know it'll be a success. And I do have to also give a shout out to Jen and Rose of In Her Purpose, because it is also 1 year anniversary of the In Her Purpose book, which you also co-authored. So guys, I'll just put a little plug in. Please do grab your copy, because you will hear more, or you will read more about the stories of Jhoanna and 39 other women that is in the book, because it's 40 total of amazing women. Right now, my daughter is reading it as her monthly novel, and she is just amazed that we know majority of the women in the book, and she's just like, oh, that's what they did. And I'm like, well, you know, they did this for you because they want you to be a better woman than they were, you know? So it's one of those books that, like Alba Legacy, you're leaving your legacy for the young women of today, right? And speaking of being part of In Her Purpose, how did that feel, being asked by Jen and Rose to be part of this inspiring book?
Well, I'm going to rub it in because I was the first one they interviewed.
I know, they always say that too.
You know, it was just, it was incredible with that connection. When I first met them, they're so funny because every time like we speak and we do interviews like this, they're like, we were so nervous. We were so nervous to meet. And I was like, why? Like, we're just sharing stories. And, you know, that's what I really encourage people to do, is to share your story, because you never know, you know, who you're going to touch. You never know that one person that's going to be like, oh my God, thank you for those words of wisdom. But going back to Jen and Rose, I tell you, they are women of their word. Why am I crying? There I go. I was doing so good. No, I'm just so grateful. I'm seriously so grateful for them, because they really you give them a vision and they just like run with it. They work 24/7. Like I will be like, okay, I'm shutting down. It's 2:00 in the morning and my phone's still going ding, ding. You know, they are, I couldn't do anything, you know, that all the events that we put on, the past 2 events we've done in the last 6 weeks, it's all, you know, because of them. Okay.
No, I get you.
Shout out to In Her Purpose.
I know. Well, they'll see this, but yes, I agree with you. And I'm in Manila, so I would know when it's 4 a.m. in the US, and I'm just like, go to sleep, guys. You know, I'll handle it on this end. Yeah, but that's what. In fact,
we had a conversation the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like our full-time job. And I think it was Rose that was like, luckily we love it. And she's like, luckily we love what we're doing. But and then Jen was like, I wish this could be our full-time job, you know? And it's been great.
Well, I mean, you know, the goodness that you women are sharing to the universe definitely comes back in so many ways. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about offline earlier, living at a time that we did not have things easy for us, where we can just Google things and research things. I think that's what made us stronger today. And speaking of that, I mean, there's a lot of young leaders, young women, young men who want to follow your footsteps. So what would be your advice for them, considering that until now, you are very honest and you are very proud of being so old-fashioned that you want to know something, you will go talk to somebody. I mean, isn't that important to communicate? But Jhoanna, please share with the young leaders of today, how else can they elevate themselves?
You know, I say, and I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I think it's important that, you know, communication is key. Don't be afraid to ask, you know, any questions. You know, no question is a bad question. You know, you have to communicate. You have to, educate yourself. The more information you have, the more, empowered you feel, the more confident you are. So I always say, just, don't be afraid to ask questions, and follow your heart. Have faith is my number one thing. Understand that you are going to go through, some challenges in your life, but those challenges just make you stronger. I always tell everybody, breathe. Everything's going to be okay. If I knew this when I was, 22 years old, starting a business, things could have been a little bit different. But I just think it's really important that, it's okay to say no to people and find those red flags. If, I always say I can feel it, because I think I've been burned so many times that I can feel like people's energy. And when you feel that they have ulterior motives, walk away. Walk away, because you want to put your energy into somebody who deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that.
Don't worry, team time steps. But that's the thing, right? That's what I always also share with people that I mentor. It's that whoever you're looking at when you're in front of a mirror, that's the person that you need to always educate and cheer on, because at the end of the day, we are the ones making the choices. Even if Jhoanna and I are telling you guys these amazing, wise words, it's also up to you to absorb that. It's also up to you to say, she's right. I need to, level up. I need to make sure that I'm on the right track, because that's how you enjoy life. Right? I love the fact that you keep instilling faith. Yes, please go ahead, Jhoanna.
Yeah, I was just sharing because it was really important. And, I wanted to give Big Brothers Big Sisters of LA their credit, because this fashion show on Saturday, I tell you, what they have to deal with on a daily basis as far as the bigs, mentoring these littles. I had the opportunity to meet with these littles and get to know them. And the first meeting with them, it was like we started at 9 o'clock and ended at like 4 o'clock. But I wanted to spend like an hour each with each little. And so I actually was interviewing them. I wanted to get to know them. What's your favorite song? What kind of food do you like? What kind of fashion? But then it started getting really deep. And, I'm talking to kids whose, one of the kids' parents is incarcerated. One kid was the last one, which was really like heartbreaking. But she struggles with mental health and has suicidal tendencies. And when she shared that with me, and the mother's like bawling, crying, I just grabbed the mom and I hugged her for like 30 seconds. It was like this silent hug, but I wanted her to know that she's not alone. And that this is why we're here. We're here for you. And then I pulled the little aside and I said, you just have to communicate, like whatever your feelings are, don't hold it in. It's okay. It's okay if you feel a certain way, but just know that we're here for you. And there's kids, like I said, at single parent homes, with poverty, living basically poverty. And I'm a single mom. And I grew up with nothing, and we came from the Philippines with nothing too. So I related. I had so many similar stories to each one of them, and we connected in such a bigger, it was just an emotional, unbelievable day. But they think I'm blessing them, but they're truly blessing me.
Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful, because, exactly the reason why I created this platform and why I always cheer everybody on to have a show is so that people, like you mentioned, the littles, there's many individuals who are feeling that way. And if we don't share our story and how we became who we are today, then they don't have that inspiration. So your silence, guys, does not help anyone. So please, if you do have an amazing story, let Jhoanna and I both know. We both came from humble beginnings, coming from the Philippines, moving to what people think are rich countries. I also witnessed my parents climb the ladder. We lived in a laundry room when we first got to Australia. So I saw them pray the rosary every night. And that's the reason why Jhoanna and I are here saying that, your faith is very important too. And for the people who are not religious out there, just reach out to people who have strong, positive mindset. You just need to surround yourself with people like that, because there's so many opportunities. As you can see, we both did not know where we were going to end up, but we are where we are because we worked hard. And it's not about, oh, we're dealing with so-and-so and so-and-so. If we didn't make that choice, we wouldn't meet the people that we are meeting now. Right, Jhoanna? Yes. I'm also getting teary-eyed. This is the most emotional interview that I've had.
Oh, but the key is too, though. The key is never stop working hard. Because even if you get to the top, or whatever you consider the top is, you still have to work hard. Like I go to work and I'm still taping up boxes, and I'm still, because we're leading by example. You don't want to get to the top and say, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. And yeah, you do, because people are watching you. So just continue, to work hard, and you'll be amazed on, just this week, I was like, with just little things that I appreciate. We were struggling with the parking for our event. And I was calling people, and I was like, they're like, oh, we're going to charge you $8,000 for the day. And I'm like, but it's just parking, And then another parking lot was like $5,000. I was like, it's for charity. Like, help us out. And then literally on Monday, someone called me. I had left like several messages for this number, and I'm like, God, they're not calling me back. And they're the closest parking lot. Like, I really want this parking lot, and they're not calling me back. So funny story is Monday, yesterday, right? Or whatever day it is. I get a call from a number that I never ever answer, because if I don't know the number, I don't answer. And so I picked it up, and it was like 8:00 in the morning, and they're like, hey, did you call about you needing a parking lot? I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, well, we can do it for like $3,750. And I was like, but it's for charity. And they're like, okay, we'll give it to you for $3,000. I was like, thank you. And then the lady was Filipina. I was like, are you Filipino? And she's like, yes. And I was like, no wonder.
Yes. So, beautiful.
Just like little things that you just,
And the little wins, they add up, right? And just having faith, just like that, Jhoanna is very resilient, which is what we're known for too. We do not give up. So that's what you have to have that mindset, right? And even in the fashion world, I know the fashion industry is very cutthroat. There's always new trends. There's always new things that materials, is that the right language to speak in the fashion world?
Sure.
So how do you find your inspiration? Is it working together with your clients, or is there something that, or someone that shares inspirations with you, Jhoanna?
As far as like designs, or as far as like the business, or as far as just like in general? Designs?
Yes.
It's so, I don't look at other people's designs. I just like, it's just in my head, and it's a vibe when I'm sitting with the client, and I ask the clients questions, your favorite color, what not to wear, what to wear, what not. And it's so funny though, I have to share, because a lot of it is not even, when I meet with a client initially, like I'll have a presentation and everything ready for them. I'll do my homework. I'll Google them and go on their Instagram, stalk them for, a few days. And then that's how I create like a lookbook for them when I meet. But the ironic thing, and it happens all the time, I would say if the meeting was an hour long, 45 minutes of it is just him, him and I, or her and I, just getting to know each other. And then the last 15 minutes is like me taking their measurements and them saying, oh, just hook me up. It's just, they're like, you do what you do, I'll do what I do. And, but then like with Wrestle, I worked with Wrestle for a good, first part, like maybe 4 years into the league. And he really found his way in the fashion industry. He has his own clothing line now. His wife has her own clothing line now. Like, they're huge in fashion, but you have to try different avenues, see what you like. Don't be afraid to try new things. And, it's about how you feel.
Right. And of course, fashion it's an expression, right? It's a feeling. I mean, me being in the modeling world for so many years, I would always be in awe with Filipino designers that just has all these different look. And sometimes, of course, the fashion show is a show. So they really just show their garments or even shoes. There was one designer, I should remember his name, but he started designing these shoes that look like horse feet, or it was like scientific.
I don't think I've seen that.
Lady Gaga noticed it and asked him to design her shoes.
Wow.
So I should know. I feel so bad. But anywho, I appreciate all Filipino designers because I know it's like you were sharing, it's blood, sweat, and tears that you put in these creations from your hearts. And sometimes, of course, we want to empower them, but at the end of the day, it is a cutthroat competition or, a career, but don't give up, because there is going to be that moment or those clients that support and love everything that you do. And including Jhoanna right here, my gosh. Of course,
that's
I think
important.
today, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, that's really why I've been in the industry for as long as I have. It's because it is important to keep those relationships, be
Yes.
genuine, be consistent, be true to yourself. And again, going back, be a hard worker. I had a client, this past weekend was like, we had the ESPYs, we had MLB, Major League Baseball. All-Star was yesterday and today and tomorrow. And they all just we had 4 Dodgers that called us on Friday and was like, we need outfits Saturday. And we're like, how are we going to make this happen? But, my team and we worked hard. We got it done. And the rewarding part is they're posting us all on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations, Jhoanna. I mean, it's like you met the president.
What was that?
You met the president, but you weren't there, but your clothes are there.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what happened? I said, I'll take that any day.
Amazing. And you are definitely one of our leaders of today and has been for the past years and will continue to be an inspiration. So as you know, our topic is, yes. Okay. So leadership to you is humble. What else?
What else? As far as?
What is leadership to you, considering that our topic for today is leaders of today?
Yeah, leaders of today is, just circling back to just our whole conversation today. Lead by example, pay it forward, yes. Educate, hug people, smile. I just posted this the other day because, as I was reflecting on this entire event and the littles and how much they inspired me, sometimes it's a simple smile or a simple nod that says you're going to be okay. You have to instill that in people. And that's what being a leader is, encouraging them, inspiring them, and just letting them know everything's going to be okay.
Yes. So if you just tuned in, guys, this is such an amazing episode because Jhoanna and I brought the audience into a roller coaster ride. So I would recommend you to share this, to replay this, because we have just brought you down memory lane up to the present, and so many gems that Jhoanna shared. But I do want to, before we wrap up, lighten things up because we were crying, laughing, crying again, holding it back.
That's typical.
So I wanted to lighten it up with a fun activity that I normally do with my guests, which is I was inspired by the book Strengths Finder. So I tweaked it a little bit. So it's finding your strength, fast talk, rapid questions. And I'm just going to ask you questions. And the first thing that comes up in your mind, just share it with us. Okay?
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Don't worry. You are clear in thought. So
okay.
So we'll start off with the first one. What's one thing about you that surprises people?
One word?
Any.
I'm funny. I'm funny.
Yeah, she is funny. All right. So what's your hidden talent?
Oh gosh. Is there a time limit? Hidden
No,
talent.
there isn't.
Hold on. I have to have one. I'm like looking around my room. I mean, sewing by hand, is that a hidden talent?
We know that.
You know that? Something else, something
Right?
different?
Yeah, something else.
Oh gosh. Can we go back to that?
Okay.
I'm going to think about it. Oh, I got one. I got a hidden talent. I play softball. I played softball for 7 years in a co-ed softball league, the Jaguars.
Wow.
And I can hit. I can hit a baseball. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I was good.
I know there's baseball.
I can't catch, but I can hit a ball.
Baseballs are so dangerous. I always got a heart attack every time my kids play that. Anywho, okay, yes. Next one. What is your go-to outfit?
Black.
What's your?
All
of
black.
course. What's your favorite? What's your favorite color?
Black.
I knew you could say that. Okay, so
no. Black. My favorite color to wear is black. My favorite color is yellow.
Me too.
Like the Filipino sun.
Yeah. Yes.
Happy.
For me, sunflower. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I knew it. You have that aura. You have that joy and bright color. All right. If you would be a fashion piece, what would you be?
Shoes.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Okay. So how would you describe your personal style?
Well, now, since I'm older and I can't wear like things I used to wear when I was 20, like the midriffs and stuff like that. I'm very classic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's it. Classic. I'll keep it classic, but the shoes and the bag have to be on point. So.
Agree. All right. So if you could trade lives with any fashion designer for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh. I really like Tom Ford. I think what he's done for his brand is remarkable. He started at Gucci, and what I love about his designs as well is he keeps it very classic, clean, timeless. So I would like to be Tom Ford.
Noted. All right. So if you were not a fashion designer or an entrepreneur, what would you be?
That's funny. Well, can I give you two?
Yes.
Okay. So I used to love sports, like love. I knew everybody's, number on the Dodgers, every Laker. I knew their stats. I knew like everything. But then I started dating a sports commentator. and today's our anniversary. It's our 10-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Shout out to my significant other, John Barry.
Yeah.
He's in, where is he, Milwaukee or Phoenix? See, I don't even know. It's playoffs and I'm not sure where. I think he's in Milwaukee. Anyways, when I started dating him, it's like 24/7 sports, football, and it's still like that. So I kind of got turned off. But when I did love the game, I wanted to be a sports commentator, like on the sidelines. I wanted to be like that girl on the sideline. Yeah. But prior to that, obviously, I wanted to be, own my own daycare center and be a teacher.
Yes.
So I feel like I saw the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I laugh because we live similar lives. I was also a tennis player. I love sports. I love basketball. And then being married to a basketball player, like you, every second of the day. Oh, watch this game. Watch this game. Oh, blah, 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 some player. And I'm like,
Okay, but if you asked your husband, will you watch HGTV with me for the entire day? What would he say? He would be like, no way.
Oh, Jhoanna, we're gonna have so much fun when we finally see each other. But
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I loved our interview. I loved hanging out with you. And as much as I wish I could be there this weekend, please invite everyone because I know it'll be a success. So before we wrap up and say see you later to everyone, invite everyone to July 17th and whatever else or how else they can contact you.
Alba Legacy on Instagram, Twitter. Our website is alba-la.com. We only have like seriously like 30 seats left. We're going to be sold out by tomorrow. I'm certain of it. So if you haven't gotten tickets, get it now. If you cannot attend, please donate. Please donate. It's an amazing cause. These littles have worked so hard. A lot of them are really nervous and it's we need to and encourage them and be there for them. So if you cannot attend, please hit the donate button and help these littles out.
Yes, and maybe you can give them a little bit of a teaser of who will be the models, because I see a lot of big names. Yes.
Yeah, and even models that couldn't attend either. One of my clients, Derrick Henry, he plays for the Tennessee Titans. He's the running back. I mean, I just shared with him the story, and he actually donated seats for the littles' families so they can attend. So we have a little Derrick Henry section. A lot of my clients, donated just because they're not able to attend. But we do have Tyler Higbee. He plays for the Rams, Los Angeles Rams. Ashawn Robinson also plays for the Los Angeles Rams. Kenyon Martin, an NBA basketball legend, he'll be in attendance. Orlando Scandrick, NFL legend, Robert Griffith. I mean, Donald Penn. I'm just so lucky and there's going to be some surprise celebrities attending. So please donate. It's for a good cause.
July must have been love month for all of us because it was also your host or a couple that is going to inspire everyone on this event. Mr. and Mrs. Scott also celebrate their first year anniversary. So happy anniversary. Yeah, imagine. Yeah. Nick and I celebrated our boyfriend and girlfriend anniversary, 18 years, July 7th, same day as Cece and Byron. So I love the fact that I was able to feature you on your anniversary. So enjoy that. Maybe for your Zoom date or whatnot. But super appreciate you, Jhoanna. I cannot wait to
you too. Thank you, Mafae.
Hang out with you when we visit, and we will be there for sure. So congratulations in advance already for a successful event, because I know it will be. And to everything that you are going to do in the future, know that I'm there to support you, as well as in her purpose and the community with Jen and Rose. So super appreciate you for being part of In Love With Me series. So everyone on Kumu, Facebook, I hope you enjoyed that, because I truly did. A great start of my morning, and I hope that you can share this episode with your family and friends, because it was truly a priceless one. So guys, you all know what to do, and it's something that Jhoanna and I spoke about, shared with you today, is that actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Thank you, Jhoanna.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.